in salaries, which is fine. Teresa, I call her an animal. I ain't a Melissa fan either, but Teresa is an animal. Do I believe all these things that Melissa's old nose told me? I do, but that's not up to me. It's up to you. Regardless, this network isn't ethical. They're not like, oh, look at all the bad things Teresa's been doing. Yes, Margaret's been doing bad things too, and all of them. That's not the point. I don't even care about that. All I care about is boiling it down. Look, I do think all this toxicity, the network is over. I do. But I think the bottom line is we have 600,000 viewers and $6 million of salary. That is more than the New York salaries and the same ratings. We don't, they would have let Teresa do all this, going to the unethical podcast, paying them to put out, allegedly, to put out her shady ass lawyer. They would have let it do it all when it was a blockbuster. They couldn't stop her. Look, I've said, I think Bravo, I think having Andy Cohen be the executive producer on 90% of the shows, to me, is a lesson in business that should be taught at Harvard and Wharton. What not to do.
Good, or what not to do. Okay.
I think they learned a lesson. I do. I think there will never be, like, I don't blame Teresa, blame her a little bit. Bravo let this happen. We let one housewife get so powerful. And Kyle is second, but not really. Beverly Hills would go on just, I don't think there's any way you can keep even one person on the cast currently without Teresa. I think it's either Teresa and like one or two other people, or just starting over. And I mean, Teresa, Dolores, and Fuda, and now we hire a bunch of newbies. I don't think that's where we're going. I think with the ratings at 600,000, Teresa's huge fucking high ass salary, I think it's over. I really do. I have nothing against her. So all the tree huggers can come for me, and I don't care. This is just a true, see, that's the thing when you're not a paid podcast. That's the thing when you're not Team Teresa or Melissa. You actually can just see clearly, because you really, these aren't humans to you. They're just pieces of like a corporate puzzle. That's where I'm going. That's where my mind is on this. And I think what Teresa has given, like, I'm not sure because she is Teresa, but I don't think there's a way to move forward. I mean, you can't with Teresa. So we're going to keep Teresa and Dolores and Fuda and hire newbies. I don't see it. So here's the thing. When people disagree with me, they're not thinking. They're disagreeing based on their emotions. They like Teresa and Jennifer. Teresa and Jennifer are the future. Well, you want them to be. I understand that, but I'm taking my emotion out of it and just giving you the numbers. I really think that it's over. Listen, and I think, by the way, and now Teresa, I do think we'll get a spinoff, which that's a whole nother story. I think we're going to start over with rich, diverse. I've heard NFL wives. I've heard like sports. I mean, there's a lot there in Jersey. We're not going snooky. I think we're going to start and look at, and you know what the difference is? When all these people on the takeover here try to get in with the new cast, it ain't working. Imagine someone trying to get in with Aaron Leachy. Like, to your point, you talk about TLC. The new crop is well behaved. It's a different, they're not Aaron.
Well, they're not well paid. That's the difference on TLC too. I mean, TLC pays a fraction, TLC's, I think, I don't know this for a fact, but just from talent that I've interviewed over the years, TLC is like, we're going to pay you peanuts and you figure out how you make money on the back end. Like, TLC allows them to promote their cameos, their all these things. And so a lot of them make so much money from that kind of stuff than they do, but they don't, maybe Sister Wives have getting closer to.
Do they get a percentage though of your wine, your book, your scooter, your car? Because maybe that's a different model, because Bravo owns you. Bravo is like, what do you mean you're going to make it? At one point, Bravo was like, Teresa and Jennifer can't even make an appearance together, because if 2 or 3 of you are together, it's like a mini BravoCon. And it's like, I mean, Bravo is in your business. So it's just a different, right? That's what I mean. It's a different model. They pay you a huge amount of money, and you can't go on a podcast. You can't do this. You can't. Well, maybe the TLC way is right. Like, pay you peanuts. And I mean, look, I'll go develop the next skinny girl and you're not getting a piece of it. That's not such a bad way to do it.
I love that we have you on a tear, baby.
I'm
So
not even on a tear. I just feel denial is a river in Egypt and denial is present in here today. Like we have to be honest. We have to just face the facts. I'm not even angry. I'm not saying 100% like I did with Melissa. I'm just saying my gut, if I close my eyes, I don't see how you fix this franchise by keeping Teresa. And I really do think Dolores is the next logical person to keep with her.
but
And where do
why?
you go from there? Where?
Okay. Okay. So we're going to do this rebrand, but this is where I need your expertise. Why would we not do a reunion, a two-part? I mean, this seems odd to me in a way of are we this is what I'm saying. I think this is I don't even think this is a Jersey initiative. I think this is a
Toxic.
brand what I think this is a whole pullback from the public, from the making people stars. I think this is because isn't it interesting? I mean, this still is one of their marquee franchises, and they're not going to do a reunion. This is odd, don't you think?
You think? Well, they do say, I mean, again, it was bullshit with New York because there were racial claims that were outstanding. And Ramona said, I won't be coming to the reunion because I'm not going to be held to the fire of being a racist on TV. That's why there was no New York reunion. They say it's also because nobody gave a shit and the ratings were so they are saying a mid-low ratings, nobody cares. They're saying that, I mean, maybe you're onto something, but they're saying that, there's no resolution. Teresa will never speak to Melissa again, which means Melissa can't speak to her. Like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that that's their argument of like, there's no what's going to happen at the reunion. Teresa's not going to speak to Melissa ever again.
No, I mean, look, I think it's the same issue they have with Ariana and Tom. It's real, right? The vitriol is
But
real.
this is, and I've done this on Patreon
That's a
again,
good
slow.
point.
But no, and I'm not arguing. Maybe you're right. But I look, maybe you are right. Maybe we're pulling back. But the thing is, the ratings are low now. So the other thing is how this is like what I said. Like, like remember when we all hated Erica Jane and the world wanted her? Well, she's still there. So like that to Erica is like a blip on her life journey, right? Like it's just a blip. She's
Mhm.
past that now. Love her or hate her, she has lawsuits and everything, but that every day she's past it. Like that's how life works. We move on. It's a moment in time. Think about when you were upset about something. You quit the Kane show and your whole life fell apart. You thought you ruined your career. Well, here you are. You're on Behind the Velvet Rope and David Yontef and Sarah Fraser, and you're making millions of dollars a year. Superstar. It was a moment in time. That's how life is. Thank God life is like that. When this is over, this is going to be a moment in time of like Teresa's life. It's over. There's no more money. So to me, it's a very long moment, but how sad is it that Margaret is doing interviews and saying it's not sustainable? Melissa says it. Dolores says it. Teresa's on doing interviews. I'll never speak to. It's like I said weeks ago on Patreon, shut the fuck up. You guys all have to shut up. So you're losing your 2 million, you're losing your 1 million. Like you couldn't see past it that like it's over for everybody now. That's the thing is like, is it worth it? Like a year from now, when Teresa makes zero from RHONJ, was it worth it? Was it worth it for Margaret? Shouldn't you have just, and I get it. I get it. When you're in it, it's pride, but like, it's a lot of money. Like
Well, I think,
it's a lot, and it's a lot of money.
I think what you knew this long before I did, but for
I'm
the
not even being mean. I'm just being like honest, but go on. Sorry. Go
well,
on.
no, no, no. For the casual viewer like myself, right? We didn't realize that it's really been over between Melissa and Joe and Teresa